would be pretty straightforward to compose a top 10 list of star cars or most improved cars or cars that are the most technically advanced, but that's so boring. Fun to drive cars engage you in a way that goes well beyond just being a form of reliable transportation. Sometimes they meet unknown needs and wants, and sometimes they just surprise you with the way they grow on you over time. These cars may or may not be the fastest, the most powerful, or the most expensive, but they are certainly the most interesting cars of 2012. And that's why we're proud to announce they made our third annual Top 10 Most Fun to Drive Cars.
Let me ask you a question. What's the most fun you can have for the least amount of money when it comes to cars? Roman wanted me to bring my interpretation of that, and I have. It's the 2011 Mazda 2. Yeah, okay, it doesn't have a ton of horsepower, but it is so much fun around the corners. Cost a little over 14 grand base. It's an awesome car for the money. So we're way up in the mountains near Boulder, Colorado, and we're here to prove that you don't need a ton of horsepower to have a ton of fun. Yeah, a car like this is going to run about 15 grand, give or take, and you get a lot for the money. You get air conditioning, power windows, power door locks, blah, blah, blah. But most importantly, you get this fantastic Mazda steering. It puts out about 100 horsepower, it's a 1.5 liter engine, and about 96 pound-feet of torque. That's not a lot. The one thing that is bad, the 4-speed automatic transmission. It's not very good, but the 5-speed manual, nice transmission. This car is silly fun. It's the most fun you can get for 14 grand. Maybe the transmission isn't great, it's a 4-speed automatic and the manual is a lot better, but it is a fantastic car. I wonder what Roman brought.
Scusi, signor. I have the Cabriolet Fiat 500. I'm rolling Italian style on 15-inch wheels. This is the most fun you can have for your money, no doubt. Ciao bella! I have certainly brought the most fun car for the least amount of money. This, my friends, is a Fiat 500 convertible. You know, the Italians know how to do things right. I have a proper 5-speed transmission. I have a suspension setup that Michelangelo would be proud of. And I have a car that does not have an uncued bone in its body. I know what you're thinking. This is a chick's car. It is not. This is the Vespa of cars. It's a scooter. It's perfect for guys. It's perfect for girls. I can see the surfers in California putting the board in the back and taking it to the beach on a beautiful sunny day like this. This Fiat costs almost $22,000, and that's because I've got the convertible, of course, and the one with all the toys. But you can get it starting at $15,500 with a 101 horsepower engine and all the pasta that you can eat. I've never driven one of those Mazda 2s.
Oh, well, I'm dying to drive one of those Fiats. Want to trade?
You bet. Here you go.
Yeah. Loaded!
Listen to that drone of that automatic. I'll give this to Nathan. The color is fun and the steering is fun, but the rest of this car, it's an econo box that's maybe ready to take you from college to your first family, but compared to the Fiat, oh, this has got miles and miles to go, at least in terms of the smile quotient. Welcome to my favorite part of the show. I bet you know what it is. Does Nathan fit? I wonder if Nathan fits in the tiny Mazda 2.
I fit.
Of course he fits. Nathan, but do you know what's next?
The Fiat?
Yes, indeed. I wonder if Nathan fits in the teeny tiny Fiat 500. There is only one way to find out. Let's find out together now. Holy cannoli!
Hey, how you doing? I fit, but the seats fold down. It's a little utilitarian.
Nathan fits. Ciao, bella.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Definitely the best part of my job.
I got the Fiat. I gotta be honest with you, the minute I saw it, I said, gotta be mine. I've driven these cars before. They are so much fun. Italian cars are usually like Italian food. They look good, they smell good, they certainly taste good, but they're really bad for you. This is a completely different car. It's a lot of fun. Gets great mileage. You can get up to 38 miles per gallon. I know it's not 40 miles per gallon. Oh no, but it is pretty damn good. Look, I want you to see something. See this headrest? Look how complex it is. It's Italian. Nobody else would make one that looks that cool and it's squishy and it feels good. That's Italian. That's what's so good.
You know, Nathan, now that I've driven both cars, I'm not sure they compare except for price.
You know, you're absolutely right. This one is built for fun with a little bit of logic. That one is built for logic with a little bit of fun. They're for totally different people.
And that's why I'm so happy I'm driving the Fiat 500 today.
Ah, yeah.
Now, I'm sure you know that the Jeep Grand Cherokee is trail rated and can go off-road. The SRT8 version, not so much. But here's the real question. Can this black Jeep behind me go on the track? Well, there's only one way to find out.
As I get on the throttle here past this cone, we've got a lot of front drive off the corner. The car pulls nice and hard off it. I don't have to worry about anything stepping out. Get on the brakes here, grab a downshift. The Jeep will just tear up this thing. It's got all-wheel drive.
Oh, you can feel that back end come around. Now, you've got some massive brakes on this, right? 6-piston Brembos.
Yeah, we've got the biggest in the company. It's a 380 millimeter front. That's 15 inches for the Americans. And it is ginormous. Well, I gotta tell you, this car, boy, it's really stable and fun. I mean, it's like I said, it's a grin machine.
I know, you can't see me, but I'm grinning behind this helmet. So do you really need a Grand Cherokee that can do, you know, almost 170 miles an hour and gets, well, at the rate I've been driving it, about 8 miles to the gallon? Obviously you don't. But that's the thing about these SRT8 products. They're aspirational, if not practical. That's why you want them. I love the wheels. How big are those? They're huge. Look at those things, man.
They're 20-inch wheels, but they're forgings. All SRT wheels are forgings, which means they can be very strong and we can take the weight out. They're actually very light. I'm going to get some grief from the purists because I've already had on the internet, we've had some discussions with our passionate SRT owners that really like the signature dual exhaust that used to be in the middle of the vehicle. But we were surprised by how many owners actually want to tow. You get this beautiful cover so it doesn't, you don't have this ugly hitch to look at, so we integrate it as well as we can. And we have put a 4-inch pipes on the vehicle that are actually finished in a cool black, in a really black chrome versus a typical bright. So it's kind of a nice little detail that's unique to this generation of SRT8.
And it feels a lot bigger than the Charger. And admittedly, this is a car that I never fully understood because I never thought that somebody would buy a Jeep to go quickly, but I understand it now, considering that it's kind of its own breed of car. It feels really, really well planted and really, really firm. And when it's in this sport mode, you know, it really feels as good as that Charger does.
I mean, what Jeep has Pirellis and Brembos and that exhaust note?
I know, but I'm kidding.
Listen to that. Oh yeah. All right, I have to admit, that was a hoot. Yeah, this is one badass Jeep. Would I want to take it off-road? No, I wouldn't. But on the track and perhaps on the Autobahn, I couldn't think of a better off-road worthy vehicle. Welcome to sunny Las Vegas, and I'm here at the Speedway about to test drive. And you know what it is? It's the brand new GS 350 that has a 306 horsepower engine pumping out 277 pound-feet of torque. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at it. I think that they've nailed it with this new spindle Lexus design that's going to be part of the Lexus brand. Hi, Nathan. You look a little,
I'm hungover. Yeah, it's Sin City. What do you expect? Okay, here's the thing right off the bat. Yeah, that's pretty, I guess. But it doesn't look like the prototype. I mean, the prototype had beautiful curves, and it was vicious and mean and looked like it wanted to kick your ass. It's not that.
Well, let's take it for a ride and see if it's got the
Ass-kicking ability.
that I think it has.
All right.
I have to tell you, these are some of the most comfortable seats I've sat in recently. I'm not sure about the back, though.
Well, let me tell you. This one does have a couple extra inches. They stretched it out a little tiny bit inside while they kept the same wheelbase. And I gotta tell you, it's a little bit more comfortable. Just a little. You know, this is a really nice looking interior, no doubt. This is what Lexus does right. On top of that, it has a 12.3-inch screen. Yes, that is really, really massive. Now, only part of it is used for navigation. The other part is used for various things like audio, special video, and a whole bunch of other items that work in conjunction with the navigation.
You know, Nathan, I think the old GS, they set their sights on Mercedes. This one, it feels like they're going after the 5 Series.
Yeah, good luck with that.
If you're going to compete with BMW and Mercedes, you got to step up to the plate with an 8-speed transmission. The chief engineer said the gear ratios in a 6-speed were adequate or best for this car. I don't buy it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not too sure about that myself. I mean, there's no reason not why they can't have the algorithm programmed differently for an 8-speed. It doesn't make sense to me.
You can get the new GS in an all-wheel drive model or with a luxury package like this one, which includes such niceties as heated rear seats, of course, shade that's operated by myself, and 3-zone climate control. Best of all, it also comes with a driver.
Yeah, shut up. I'll tell you what this does have that's kind of interesting. See this little gizmo up here on top of the steering wheel? That actually looks at your eyes, and it makes sure that you're not nodding off behind the wheel. It used to be just the face, now it's the eyes, and with all the gizmo satskas and crap that this car has, I'm surprised the hand doesn't come out and slap you in the face and wake you up.
Or in Nathan's case, kick him in the butt.
There's another option that's available for this car, and one that I really like, and that's the rear wheel steering. It only moves the rear wheels about 2 degrees, but it helps with high performance driving and highway driving.
You know, Nathan, my Z had that option like 300 years ago.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, you gotta love that tunnel blast. I'll give you this, Nathan, it sounds a lot better than the old one. Not perfect, but a lot better.
Absolutely. The old one used to sound kind of like a sewing machine. They actually put a special baffle inside the air intake to make it sound better, and it does.
You mean that's not the engine?
No, that's a little additional. We've driven the A6, the 5 Series, and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, and let me tell you something, Lexus has a lot of work to do if they want to get them. They got a lot of things to do.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's take it on the track and see how it does.
Yeah, Nathan liked the track, Nathan liked the track.
Now, to really see if the Lexus is German worthy, we are in a BMW 535i on the racetrack. Before we even get to the Lexus, we're going to check out the competition. All right, here we go in the BMW.
Just when you think you can't do more, one thing lovely about BMWs is that you can.
Oh yeah, the back end just came around. Woo, that was all right. All right, Nathan, one word, sum up what the BMW is like.
Bitchin'.
If BMW sets the performance benchmark, I think most people would agree that Mercedes sets the luxury benchmark in this segment. And guess what? We're in a Mercedes E350.
Wow, a lot looser than the BMW, I'll tell you that. Whoa!
One word to describe the Mercedes E350 on the track.
Seasick.
Now, we've just driven the Mercedes and the BMW on the track, and if you were to rate them, would you say BMW 1 and Mercedes 2?
Absolutely. BMW is a much better track car.
So let's see where the Lexus falls on that spectrum.
Wow, I actually was expecting more lean, so it's not leaning nearly as much as the Mercedes. I say you can hear it limiting, it cuts it off.
So the electronics that we had engaged in all three cars, by the way, are limiting the fun.
Big time. And the brakes are really good. Oh, this is a much sharper car. I can't find just one word for this car. I'm really impressed with what it did on the track. It's much better than I anticipated.
Now, I drove this one and the BMW, and I gotta tell you, I think the BMW steering is still a little bit sharper, but
The suspension on this one feels much more planted, and that rear wheel steering, you can really feel it work.
and in terms of value, we don't know yet because they haven't announced the pricing, but you can bet you it's gonna be right around,
Maybe 50 grand.
yeah, I think that's a safe bet. We're standing here on top of the mountain in Canada, in front of the new Evoque. Tell me about the engine.
This engine is a 4-litre turbocharged engine. We call it the SI4. It's got 240 brake horsepower, and it's got a very nice long flat torque curve. So all the way up from idle up to maximum RPM, there's a lot of torque available.
I notice it's transversely mounted.
That's correct. Yep, it's an east-west engine with a power takeoff and then a drive line which has an electronic center coupling to provide the 4-wheel drive.
And people are going to be curious, is this co-developed with Ford? Is this kind of a sister engine to the EcoBoost?
It is a sister engine, but it's been heavily modified for the Range Rover application, so we have more power out of the engine.
It's certainly a unique design. It reminds me of a coupe or coupe, as you would say. What was the thinking when they designed this car?
Well, the coupe was the first concept, and the LRX concept, which was shown a few years ago, was the 3-door and had a very rakish, sporting roofline. And so this is the model that follows that concept most closely. And then we produced a 5-door off the back of that for a bit more practicality, and that's got ever so slightly more headroom at the back, slightly less rakish tilt to the roofline.
It's one of these cars that has a much bigger stance than it is. It's really not a very big car.
No, absolutely. It's fairly small. When you compare it to the competition and even to other Range Rover products, it is very small. But with incredibly clever packaging, we've managed to lower the roofline, increase the weighting and the ground clearance, and still maintain a good command driving position. So it's all very clever packaging where the components have gone to allow us to achieve that.
Now I noticed that the car does have paddle shifters.
Absolutely, yep. So it's an auto transmission. You can either stick it in D for drive and it'll do its thing, or if you want to take control, you can use the up and down shifts for increased response and better driver interaction.
And let's talk about your expertise. You worked on the terrain response. Tell me about that. What does it have and how does it work?
Okay, so you get 4 programs with terrain response on a standard vehicle. So we have a standard program for general highway driving, a grass, gravel, snow program for when it's really slippy, a mud and ruts program for severe off-road and mud plugging, and then a sand program for deep soft sand. There's 2 suspension types on the Evoque, so you can have a standard passive suspension, or you can have adaptive dynamics, which has got a Magnaride damper system, and if you pick that, you get a 5th terrain response program, which is dynamic, and that gives you a sportier feel to both steering and the suspension.
It's got a lot more room than most people would think. Why is that?
Clever packaging. Again, in the 3-door and the 5-door, we've got a fairly generous boot. There's lots of rear occupancy space. And as I mentioned before, that's all to do with where we've put the key components and lowered the roof line, but still kept the ground clearance that we need for a Range Rover.
And for America, you've got 20-inch wheels.
We have got 20-inch wheels, yes. You can also get 19s too, but 20-inch wheels, absolutely. It's a Range Rover, and people buy Range Rovers because they want to be able to know that they can drive everywhere, even if they never do. I would keenly encourage owners to drive off-road and push this car to see what it can do, because it's incredibly capable.
So let's recap. The car is sexy, it's good off-road, it's fun on-road. There's got to be something wrong with it, and perhaps there is a ding in this car's armor, and that is its price. It can cost up to $58,000 when it's all optioned out, which is a lot for a small 3-door coupe. Full disclosure, I love Volvos, and I am in love with this S60R. Why do I love Volvos? I've owned a bunch of turbos. I've owned the T5, I've owned the V70R, and out of all those, this is my favorite. Volvos are safe, Volvos are practical, and if you get one like this, they're fast, and a lot of people don't know they're fast. Think about it, it's stealth speed. How cool is that? At 325 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque, this is the most powerful Volvo I have ever driven, and I wager it is the fastest. What's great about it is the turbo. Just watch this. Oh my God, I'm already doing 80 miles an hour, and how can you not help but get a huge smile on your face with all that power and all that torque kicking you in the ass? As much as I love this car, I have a bad feeling that Nathan is not going to like it. For me, this steering is precise and accurate, a little on the light side, but nevertheless fun to drive.
Steering feel sucks.
Volvos have not been known for handling. We all know that. Put this car around a corner, it sticks.
Okay. Steering. Can't feel what's going on? Yeah, the car sticks to the ground because it has all-wheel drive.
I have a wager for you. If you can find any car on this entire planet that has more comfortable seats than this Volvo, I will get in the trunk and I will do Does Roman Fit?
If you are tall, if you have legs, having this particular thing there sucks.
Most cars in this price range have something like an 18-speed transmission. This car, 6-speed that you can select. You know what? I don't care, because as long as you have that turbo and that torque, every time you floor it, you're always in the right gear. So whatever the transmission's doing, I don't care.
Roman seems to like this transmission. It sucks. I'll tell you why. 6 speeds, yay, great. It's a regular automatic transmission. It's not a dual clutch. There are no paddle shifters. You could pop it into a gear and leave it there for, you know, a minute or two, and then what happens? Right? It shifts on its own. You can't even leave it into the red line, and there's no manual option.
Look at this car. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, these flowing lines, these bulging muscular fenders. Who would have thunk that this car is designed by a Swedish car company? My favorite thing though are these beautiful silver mirrors.
The mirrors were taken from Audi. They don't really fit.
Nathan, I'm getting the distinct impression that you don't like this Volvo.
I don't.
Just do me a favor, would you? One favor. Drive it like you stole it.
Alright, whatever.
Let's go.
Oh, we're off to a great start, Roman. Why do you have to put the key fob in the slot? It's stupid. You should just be able to hit a start button and get this thing going. It's ridiculous.
All right, Nathan, punch it.
Here we go. It's already sick. Whoa! 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 Okay. Whoa.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
okay.
That was plenty fast, dude. That's why this car, in my book, is a ball
It's
of
a
fun.
freight train. It's a friggin' freight train.
Let's face it, in America, there is no car that says Volkswagen more than the Beetle. That is the brand right there. So is a third generation Beetle a better, more reliable, more fun car? Well, let's take it for a ride and find out. Alright, first impression, it's a lot wider, it's a lot more grown up, and it's a lot more masculine. In the old Beetle, if I were sitting with somebody, I'd be shoulder to shoulder with them. And this one, there's enough room to stretch out and, you know, hold the camera like I'm doing right now.
You know, we tried to go back to that air-cooled Beetle of the 50s and 60s and 70s and get that shape that everybody was recognizable, everybody knew, and everybody liked.
Volkswagen added some performance-enhancing drugs to the new Beetle, think testosterone, and one of the ways they've done that is by adding this flat-bottom wheel.
You know, the new Beetle was so specific in its demographic, mostly feminine, mostly female. We wanted to keep those same customers, but broaden and open up that customer base. And so we have something that's sportier, more aggressive, and hopefully appeals to everybody. The base engine is a 2.5, 170 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque. Then we move up to the turbo with 200 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque. And then the TDI that comes next year, it's the same one we have in the other cars, 140 horse, 236 pound-feet of torque.
One of the things you immediately notice getting in this car is just how much more substantial, how much heavier, how much more grown up, for lack of a better word, it feels. And the other thing I've noticed is just how quiet it is. I think VW's put a lot of money and time into developing a more grown-up car.
We start right around 19 grand for the base 2.5. The 2.5 that has most of the equipment that we think the customers will really enjoy is just under 20 grand. And then the turbo starts at 23,395, and the TDI will be similarly priced. We're not finalized yet since it's not till next year.
Okay, full disclosure, I own two of the previous generation models and they both had issues. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a better car. It's smoother, it's built more solidly, it's a lot quieter, and it's faster. But will it hold up over time? Is it a better car over the next 5 years? Has VW gotten over their quality control issues? Well, and this is a cliche, time will tell. And what's the gas mileage when it's applied to the Beetle?
For the turbo, it's about 22.31, and for the 2.5, it's about 21.29.
And you said that this is 120 pounds lighter than a GTI, so do you have a 0 to 60 time on it?
It's about 6.8. It's real similar, but we wanted to make sure that the GTI remains the performance halo of the brand, or the performance icon, when you think about the performance cars. So, I mean, again, it's a great car. It's just below a GTI.
And this is obviously the image halo of the brand, right?
This is the brand. I mean, this is what started Volkswagen. So,
this is the brand new BMW 650i X-Drive, which means it's all-wheel drive, and it is just, well, sexy and gorgeous are two words that come to mind. Best of all, they've stuffed a V8 twin turbo that produces 400 horsepower and sounds like, when you hear it, something that Wagner would have composed himself. So where's Nathan? He's supposed to help me review this. Here I am. Nathan, what are you doing in the car? Get out here. Come on, get out here.
No, I'm not coming out.
What's wrong with you?
Have you sat in these seats yet?
No.
Oh, really nice. This is an extremely comfortable car. This is one of the nicest BMW interiors I've ever seen. I mean, look at the French stitching and the way the entire flow of the dashboard comes right through here. It's modern, it's cool, it's chic, and it's still BMW. Very impressive. However, I will say this, if you get this car, get the panoramic sunroof. Otherwise, you feel like you're deep. I mean, look how low I am compared to the door panel. As an ultimate GT cruiser, and that's basically what this is, you really want to see outward the sculpture and the shape of the car. And in this car, you can do it. The hood is beautifully scalloped. I really truly think that next to the Z4, this is one of the best looking cars in BMW's fleet. This is where the magic happens. The 4.4 liter V8 has 2 turbochargers, puts out 400 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, but let's really be honest with them. This car is a little bit of a pig. I mean, this is a big engine because it's a big, heavy car.
Yeah, it weighs over 2 tons.
And it's 300 pounds heavier than the previous version. Obviously, this is a GT or Grand Touring car, so it's not really meant for, 4 adults to sit in this car comfortably. But I am in the car, and so is Nathan. Unfortunately, my seat is all the way forward. And Nathan, I'm gonna move it back, and you tell me when it gets uncomfortable, okay? Here I go.
Now. But in all honesty, there is something kind of cool. It's big enough, and it's dug out and scalloped, so the child seat fits pretty well back here.
Yeah, but can the child get back there?
It's just gonna take a long time to get the child back here. Ride and handling in this particular vehicle are easily controlled by these 2 buttons. You can go all the way up to Sport Plus and all the way down to Comfort. The thing is, when you have it fully blown onto Sport, everything tightens up like it's ready to pop. And then when you go down to Comfort, it's like it's exhaled. It's easily one of the best rides I've had in a coupe.
In terms of competition, Nathan, this car is in basically its own league. There's only a handful of cars I can think of. Perhaps the Jaguar XK or R, depending on the variant.
Yeah, and also the Mercedes-Benz CL. This car offers a manual transmission, which they don't, and it also offers all-wheel drive, which the Jaguar doesn't offer.
All right, since we've got a $100,000 performance car, we have a little iPhone app that actually measures acceleration. So we're gonna see how fast this is. Keep in mind that this car is heavy and we're at over 6,000 feet of elevation, which means it's gonna be slower than you guys are used to. Nathan, did you put the car in the right modes?
I'm doing that right now. Sport Plus. It shuts the traction control off, but as long as we don't careen into the snow, we'll be good.
All right, here we go. Accelerate when ready.
Here we go.
Whoa, that's pretty hard. Okay, that's 60. Take a guess, 0 to 60, how fast do we go?
Say about 5.5 seconds.
You are wrong, it is 5.03, just a tick over 5 seconds.
Wow.
Economy. Nathan, what are you getting right now?
Right now, 15.6 miles per gallon.
It's a thirsty, thirsty car.
You don't buy this car if you're looking for economy.
In terms of value, it's hard to do that with a car that competes with so few cars that cost how much?
It bases at $86,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's a lot of engine note.
Oh, yeah, you could do a lot worse.
I'm driving my favorite sedan, that's in quotes, of the year, the new Audi A7. And here is why, 3 reasons I love this car so much. All right, here's my number 3 reason why I love this car so much. It, in my mind, is the perfect combination of sport and luxury. With a 310 horsepower supercharged engine, it's got enough pop to put a big smile on your face, and yet when you just want to cruise, sit back, and relax, the Audi A7 does that as well. My number 2 reason is the interior of this car. I've driven a lot of Audis recently, including the new A8, and this one is the best of them all. It's spacious, it's elegant, It's stylish, and perhaps most important of all, it makes you feel special. And when a car does that, that is a car to buy. And my number one reason that I think this Audi A7 is my favorite sedan of the year is it's just beautiful. Think of it as a roomy 4-seater A5. I know the A5 has 4 seats, but this one actually has room for 4 adults. I mean, just look at this car. It is what you'd want in a car. It's low, it's wide, it's mean, and honestly, I'm not sure whether the front or the back end of this car is more handsome. Yeah, I know. Is it a sedan? Is it a coupe? It doesn't matter. It's just gorgeous. Unlike the BMW GT, you know, the one where you better like big bottoms, this car is a car that I am proud to drive, and it's a car that gets all sorts of looks, and that is the reason why it is one of my favorite sedans of the year.
Roman and I agreed to bring our favorite sedan of the year. And it was hard for me because I was really torn between the Cadillac CTS-V and this. This thing has 510 horsepower. It has a supercharged engine, 6-speed transmission, which I wish it was a manual, but it's got these nice little paddle shifters, even though they're plastic. And it flips the throttle when you downshift, and it holds the road like Lindsay Lohan holding a bottle of beer, okay? It just will not let go. Number 3, there is a certain type of emotional cachet this car carries, and I'll tell you why. Because even an ugly fat guy like me, when I'm driving it, I'm hot. Especially the Cougars, man. They come out of the woodwork. They run their fingers along the hood and they look at me and go, "What type of Jaguar is this, baby?" I'm not kidding. It really happens. And it can happen to you. You just gotta fork out $79,000. My number 2 is a little different than me being, you know, enthusiastic about how cool it looks, and it does look cool, and how fast it is, and it is really fast. It gives you an element of sophistication you can't get out of driving, you know, a Mustang and the other cars a barbarian like me is used to driving. My number 1 reason is simple. 5 liters of British goodness. Right here, under this hood, it's a 5-liter V8 with a supercharger. Now you can't see it because I got this plastic crap covering it, okay? But it's in there. It's deep inside. It's purring. Can you hear it? It's saying, "Love me, drive me." It's right there.
Well played, Nathan. A Jaguar XFR. I am seriously impressed and a bit jealous.
Okay, and you guys are gonna hear this first. This is a beautiful car. I didn't like it too much when I first saw it in a magazine, like about a year ago, but my God, I mean, well done. That's nice.
You know, there's only one way to settle which of these 2 beautiful European machines is better. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Hey, I'm thinking it. Let's swap.
All right, let's swap. And we'll take them for a ride, and we'll make the final decision.
This is gonna be interesting.
All right, Nathan, what do you think of this fantastic car now that you're behind the wheel?
It reminds me a little bit of you, my friend. It's very European. It's got very straight, solid lines. It's very serious, but it has a little whimsy in it.
Which car would you take?
I gotta go with the Jag.
This mashed up matchup is brought to you by a very important question. Yes, that's right. Does Nathan fit?
I fit.
Surprisingly, he fits. So do you say Jaguar or Jaguar? So do you say tomato or do you say 510 freaking horsepower, Nathan? It feels precise, it feels alive. It feels like it's on its tiptoes, and it feels like, you know, here's a bad Motor Week auto.
Oh no, let's see if this Jaguar has claws.
And this car has claws. It feels, you know, it feels alive, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, those brakes. My God, those brakes. Oh, and I wasn't stomping on them. Oh, and the engine note. Oh my. All right, now you said something about me that I think is right on. You know, I'm very, well, you said practical, I would say pragmatic.
Stoic? Okay.
Yeah, pragmatic, you know. And in my mind, the choice between an extra 200 horsepower and all-wheel drive Quattro is a simple one. In Colorado, I'll take the Quattro all the time because this car is going to be like a goat on ice in the winter, especially if there's anything resembling moisture on the ground. And maybe this is more important. Sometimes, Nathan, it's not the size of the boat, but it's the motion in the ocean, if you know what I mean. And the Audi has some smooth moves, my friend.
Yeah, but this one's brusque and angry sometimes, and it makes me feel special.
Nathan, that was a lot of fun. And to be honest, to me, this Audi's like your wife, and that Jaguar's like your mistress.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, my Jaguar's a lot like Megan Fox, and this thing is a lot like Uma Thurman.
Also means there's only time for one more thing. You know what that is, Nathan?
No, I really don't.
I bet you know.
Oh,
Bye, Nathan.
bye.
He fits.